really delicious nettle recipe today that's so easy to make. These are nettle gnocchi, but not potato gnocchi. These are very different, as you'll see. First thing I'm going to do is harvest a bunch of nettles, and you can harvest nettles that are very young. You can harvest nettles that are a little bit older, where you'd be picking, only the tops or only the tender meristematic part of the plant, and you can use many different plants here, not just nettles. Bring the nettles home, wash them in a sink full of cold water, and now the secret here to really good flavor is a steamer basket. I've talked about it before, and I have a video on the process. If you have not tried steaming stinging nettles yet, this needs to be the first thing you make this spring with them. When we blanch nettles, a lot of the tasty solutes and flavor goes into the water, and if you steam them, all of that goodness, all of those nutrients and flavor stays in the plant, and you will be amazed at how much flavor is in these things. Also, if you have wood nettles have a taste that's almost like apple blossoms. It's a perfume to them. Highly recommend those too. When the nettles are tender and taste good to you, then we're going to take them out, squeeze the water out as much as we can, chop them, and then we're going to puree them in a food processor with salt, pepper, and eggs. And we really want to disperse the egg here because that's what's going to help bind the gnocchi. This is made with breadcrumbs. It's a rustic, peasant dish made with plants and stale bread. So the gluten's been denatured in breadcrumbs, and the egg is what is going to help this bind and become firm and not fall apart. That said, you can use gluten-free breadcrumbs here because we don't need gluten. Now I'm going to mix that puree of nettles and eggs up with breadcrumbs and a good amount of Parmesan cheese. Lots of cheese in here. It's really good. And we want to make sure that is mixed very, very well. Again, this is super easy because you cannot over-knead the dough. You can't over-mix it because we're not relying on the gluten here. Let that rest for at least an hour, and then we're going to roll them out just like regular potato gnocchi. You want to make sure that the logs that you roll out are nice and thin. These are a little more dense than regular gnocchi, so we don't want them to be too big. They need to be a small bite-sized piece. So roll out all your logs, and then I'll show you two different shapes, but there's lots of different shapes you can make. And the first one that I'll make is probably my favorite. I think it's the most elegant, and that is just using a bench knife or a knife and cutting them on the diagonal into diamonds. Don't those look nice? And the next one, this is the way that my chef from Rome taught me to make gnocchi. You cut them into squares and then you indent them with your finger. Pressing them down makes them flat so they will cook faster, and the little indent helps them hold sauce. Just another different option that you can do. Just look at those diamonds though, and look at that deep green color. I just love this recipe. Now to cook them, this is very important. We're going to have our water at a boil. We're going to add our nettle gnocchi, and you're going to see that the gnocchi are going to float right away. This is misleading because the gnocchi are not yet cooked through. We need to make sure that we are cooking them for at least 2 to 3 minutes or a little bit longer. Just taste one and make sure that it's not gummy in the inside. And these are going to be surprisingly tender. This is such a cool recipe that you can use with so many things. And after the nettles are cooked and you've tasted one, they taste good to you, just take them right from the pan and put them into a pan with melted butter or brown butter and sage or brown butter and mint. Just a really easy, fantastic way to cook nettles on a little bit of tomato sauce with brown butter drizzled over it. It's fantastic. I hope you try these out. Happy nettle season. Thanks for watching.